From extreme heat in summers to extreme cold in the winters, you probably noticed wild weather swings over the past few years because of climate change. It's putting massive amounts of stress on our power grid, and there are warnings that in the next 5 to 10 years, half of North America's population could be at risk of blackouts. To walk us through what's at stake, our latest recipient of the Satchadina CTV News Fellowship, Rukhsar Ali, is joining me now. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So excited that you can be here. So talk to us about what you are discovering. Why are we expecting to see more blackouts, and how concerned should we be?
Yeah, no, experts are really concerned. The thing that they're seeing with these extreme weather events is that they're getting more frequent and they're getting more severe. And this really matters because, you know, we're seeing a bunch of extreme heat warnings across the country right now. And for a lot of people, getting to air conditioning can mean the difference between life and death. And so I have some context for you here. In the decade ending in 2023, Canada's 10 most significant weather events caused nearly 20 million electricity interruptions for customers. And so we're seeing these climate change fueled extreme weather events, and this is also alongside more demands on the grid. So think of things like electrification, things like electric vehicles and heat pumps. These are all causing more strains on the grid. And then there's this new challenge, which is AI. So data centers that are taking up all this electricity and adding even more stress to an already pressured grid.
Interesting. So which provinces are the most vulnerable to energy shortages?
So there was a recent study that shows that most Canadian provinces are actually at risk for power shortfalls during these extreme weather conditions, but the most are these two that they identified. It's Quebec and Nova Scotia. And a lot of that is because of the demand projections that they have. Also, both these provinces are used to extreme weather events, and so there's a lot of wear and tear on their grids. And another challenge is aging infrastructure. So this is across Canada. These parts need to be replaced, and the grid needs to be modernized, and there's a race to do that.
So you were recently in Nova Scotia. What's being done there to address the problem?
I was recently in Nova Scotia, and the thing about the province is they're no stranger to these extreme weather events. And so they've been working on these for a long time. I actually got to go to Nova Scotia with the utility and see what they were doing on site. And so one of the things that they're doing is replacing transmission poles, and they're replacing these old wooden poles with stronger, more resilient materials so that they can better withstand storms. And so that's one kind of solution. And then the other kind of solution is smart technology, and that thing is being deployed all across the country. And so speaking of solutions, I was also recently at the Grid Modernization Center, and what they're doing is really interesting. They're actually using super-powered computers to test grid components before they even make it into the system. So they'll run these real-time simulations, and they can actually see how extreme weather will impact them, and they can catch those problems before they even become a problem.
Canada is trying to reduce our reliance on the U.S. when it comes to trade, but the Prime Minister has also pushed for energy sovereignty. So where does this stand right now, and how challenging will this be?
Right, that's exactly right. So Prime Minister Mark Carney did talk about this during the campaign trail, that he wants to open up these energy corridors in between provinces. And so the recent bill that was passed, Bill C-5, is meant to expedite these major nation-building projects, and energy corridors could be a part of that. But of course, it wasn't without controversy. So a lot of Indigenous communities came out and said they were concerned that they won't get a say as these projects are fast-tracked through approvals, and it might hurt the environment. What's interesting is that there is a certain type of energy project that might get these groups on board, and that's an east-west grid that actually prioritizes renewable energies. And so this idea of this pan-Canadian grid has been around for decades. The problem is that it hasn't really been realized for a few issues, and some of those include, different provinces have different regulations, and so getting a grid like this off the ground could be kind of cumbersome. And the other issue is cost. But these groups that are environmental groups and some Indigenous groups are saying that, a project like this might be a much needed investment to help secure Canada's energy future.
Rukhsar, great stuff, great reporting. Really appreciate you being with us. Rukhsar has written all about this, Rukhsar, on our ctvnews.ca website. And I know you're going to have more coming up on CTV National News tonight. So thanks again for your time on this one.
Thanks so much.